Please take a second to subscribe, then like and share afterwards. We can really use your support. Thank you. In our previous episode, we promised to unveil a key player behind the passing on of an ancient torch. Evil was behind the rise of our modern Philistines and their resurrection on the world stage. This man would be the most critical player to lay the foundation for our Palestine to be possible and pave the way for Yasser Arafat's eventual takeover. He rose in the form of an early Arab nationalist and Muslim leader in Ottoman Palestine. His name was Mohammed Amin al-Husseini. In World War I, Husseini fought for the Ottoman army against the British and later turned his entire focus on derailing all movement toward the birth of a Jewish nation in the land. His inflammatory speeches leaving several Jewish people dead. From 1921 onward, he would be known as the Grand Mufti of Jerusalem, becoming a central figure in violent Arab uprisings like the Nebi Musa riots. To escape persecution, he fled to Nazi Germany. Here he became an admirer of Adolf Hitler. He openly expressed support for the new Nazi government and stated he looked forward to the spread of fascism throughout the Middle East, while fawning over the Nazis' anti-Jewish campaigns. He then appealed to Hitler to rid Palestine of Jewish settlements. By 1940, the Mufti drafted a document for Nazi approval in which the Arab countries would be given the right to solve the Jewish issue in the lands as the Nazis had solved it in Germany. In November of 1941, the Mufti obtained a meeting with Hitler in the Reich Chancellery of Berlin. He asked Hitler to commit to the elimination of the national Jewish homeland, and Hitler affirmed his commitment to destroying the Jewish element residing in the Arab sphere at the right time. The Holocaust was to be taken to the land of Israel. Al-Husseini was increasingly drawn to Hitler's SS, the prime agents of the Holocaust, and to Heinrich Himmler, its prime overseer. German diplomat Fritz Grobe recorded that in July of 1942, the Mufti visited a Nazi concentration camp and was favorably impressed. Mufti would work tirelessly to block the routes of Jewish people trying to escape its horrors, and he became personally responsible for preventing the escape of 500 Jewish children, consigning them to their deaths. During World War II, al-Husseini worked for the Third Reich, broadcasting Nazi propaganda. He publicly exhorted the Muslim world to follow the example of the Nazis in a definitive solution to the Jewish problem. His broadcasts from Radio Berlin would regularly be heard. Arabs, kill the Jews wherever you find them. Isn't it remarkable that the Western world knows little to nothing about this? The enemy has worked overtime to ensure that a post-war anti-Nazi world would forget all about it. Accused of committing war crimes, the Mufti would again escape prosecution by fleeing to Egypt, where he was given a hero's welcome. His popularity had increased exponentially and was now working with the Muslim Brotherhood. The dragon's rage had now totally inflamed and empowered the Arab and Islamic world. The same spirit that gripped Germany from the early 1930s to 1945 was now gripping the Arabs who were bringing Palestine back to life. And so, before we had Yasser Arafat, we had the Mufti, al-Husseini, as the true father of Palestinian nationalism. And at the very same time, in 1948, as Israel was declaring nationhood, so too was Palestine. Not for their own sake to establish a nation, but for thwarting Israel's return. And so you have it. The establishment of Palestine and the hate for Israel is intrinsically connected to Hitler's Third Reich. And now, with your eyes wide open, you can clearly see that the dragon's fingerprints are all over both of them. Therefore, by the end of World War II, the Nazis were all but erased from power. But you can guarantee that the Mufti was just as much a Nazi as he returned to the Middle East to continue his assault on the Jews. The Nazi presence was right there in Egypt and Gaza, minus red armbands and swastikas. One prominent Muslim leader, Hassan al-Banna, at the time proclaimed, "Germany and Hitler are gone, but al-Husseini will continue the struggle." It was in 1946, the year after the end of the Holocaust. The Mufti, now based in Cairo and plotting his destructive ends, meets a young and determined teenager attending secondary school. He took the teenager under his wing and recruited him to his cause. That youth would become his disciple. That boy's name was Yasser Arafat. The torch was taken from Adolf Hitler and now being handed over to Arafat. And we are not through. The Mufti secretly brought a former Nazi commando and SS officer, Otto Skorzeny, to Egypt. In Cairo, Skorzeny taught Arafat and his comrades how to launch attacks against the Jewish people of Israel and how to wage guerrilla warfare. Arafat continued recruiting Nazi instructors into the Palestinian agenda. This would include Erich Altern, leader of the Gestapo's Jewish Affairs section, and Willy Berner, a member of the Mauthausen concentration camp. It would be revealed later that Arafat's PLO was working with and employing several other Nazi and neo-Nazi agents. So, as we've firmly established a continuous chain from Hitler's Third Reich all the way up to Yasser Arafat and the Fatah, could there be a continuation of this chain of fascism leading to our current times? Remember, we are dealing with an ancient enemy whose fingerprints are easy to identify, and it was all prophetic. The year of the Mufti's birth was 1897, the very same time and year that Theodor Herzl convened the first Zionist Congress and officially inaugurated the movement of Zionism for the return of Israel. So the dragon responded. Up next, the dark chain of cause and effect does not end with Yasser Arafat. As we are about to explore, the torch would be handed to yet another evil, birthing in the Islamic resistance movement that we all know of as Hamas. Here on Secrecies Uncovered.